welcome back to Finding Fashion. Finally, an eco-fashion podcast that is not clinically depressing. I'm your host, Pojo. I'm so happy to be here with you. Got an awesome person across the table from me. But before we even get started, I have to say that this podcast is powered by Galaxy, for those that do not know. It's a new way to source your favorite fashion pieces, whether you're into vintage, upcycled, just cool poppin' businesses that you want to get into. Galaxy is the place for you, all right? It's been the place for me, and I know you're going to love it. So if you want to check out what's going on Galaxy, you got to go to their site, shopgalaxy.com, and later in the conversation, we're going to highlight one of the amazing creators on Galaxy. So stay tuned for that, all right? Okay, wonderful. I've got a creator on Galaxy that's across from me right now who I am repping in the studio. If you're watching on video, congrats, you get to see the drip. If you don't, it's okay. You can just check out their gram, their page, their shows. And I'm very, very excited to talk to a fashion icon, an international fashion icon. Does that bother you if I say that?
That sounds good.
Okay, good. I'm chatting with someone who is redefining upcycled fashion and who we see wearing it, honestly, as well. She's the founder of Not Just Trash, a curated shop of vintage and secondhand pieces that scream wear me. And it includes some very rare, very cool upcycled things, okay? Things you wouldn't really expect. Vogue loves her. Willow Smith loves her. I love her. Everybody, please welcome Molly. Molly, welcome to Finding Fashion.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for being well, first of all, New York. I mean, this is a big moment. You've told me this is your first trip, no?
My first time here.
What are your thoughts? What's your hot take on the Big Apple?
I'm thinking I want to come back.
I think you need to be back. You already give New York energy. I know that's a compliment, of course.
Thank you.
There's a hustle to it. There's also a level of like showing up, showing out.
Yep.
You've got the fit. The drip right now is amazing.
Thank you.
What are you wearing today, too, by the way, if I may ask?
It's all secondhand.
Love.
I don't know the brands. The shoes are New Rocks.
Oh, nice.
But I would say this is Not Just Trash.
This is sick.
All stock I've sourced.
Oh, I love it. It's awesome. I love the buckle situation on the
it's hot.
neck. It's all, for those that can't see, it's a denim moment, and it's just so detailed. I'm obsessed with it. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for showing up and showing out, and thanks for being a part of the Galaxy universe as well. The Galaxy, what am I saying? But I want the origin story before we get started on like who you are, where you're from. Give me all the tea. Like,
Okay.
What's the deal?
I'm Molly. I sometimes get called Fiona as well.
Also, you're a little. I love that you have an alter ego online because your
Yeah.
handle is just misleading, and then it's like, wait a sec.
Where does Molly come from? So I met with someone last week and they were like, what do you prefer to be called? And I was like, well, my name's Molly. And they've been calling me Fiona. They were like, is Molly like shorter version of Fiona? And I was like, no. Fiona's completely made up. I read
love
it in
it.
a book and I was like, I like that.
I love Fiona.
I like that. Yeah, so it's basically if I release music or anything, I don't want my name there. So Fiona is for that reason.
So do you have a music thing happening right now under wraps?
Maybe.
So we're getting a little like foreshadowing here on like what's
okay.
on the I love it. So you're not from New York. You're
Nope.
from England. Where are you from specifically?
I'm all over the place.
Lovely.
I moved to Glastonbury in the UK until I
cool.
was 8, and then we moved to Brighton,
Oh, nice.
which is by the sea. And then 4 years ago, I moved to London, and I'm hoping that maybe I can move to New York this year.
I love this. We're manifesting right now on the show as well. It's amazing. Like with all that traveling too, I'm sure you're exposed to so many different parts of England. I mean, it's kind of like how people outside of New York love to claim they're from New York. And then it's like, well, actually the suburban lifestyle is nothing like downtown Manhattan. Like that's just not the case. Do you feel like all of those have influenced you in different ways? Like I'm sure also fashion wise that has like a different version of
No,
you
definitely.
everywhere.
I feel like I've always been moving, so I love traveling. And I feel like I'm good at like meeting new people and like all of that difficult stuff because it's just what I'm used to. It's probably influenced my fashion as well because most of the things I make are inspired by how I feel or like my expression.
Yeah. And I will also too, like, I mean, London versus Brighton. And I'm trying to remember too. One of our guests is from England that we had on earlier, and she talked about like prep style in England versus
Preppy,
like almost like this cool grunge, like London vibe that's like way more our like people. So did you have that influence as well?
I was like an American Apparel girl.
Oh, yes. We're going into the phases, you guys. Here we go.
And then shortly after I started my Depop, and then I became a sustainable queen.
Love.
I've been like fast fashion free for maybe 5 years now.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I used to get sent loads of clothes from brands, and then one day I just deeped that I really didn't enjoy it, and that it was kind of fake. So I shut down my Instagram. I had like 35K. This is when I was 16. I shut down my Instagram and I just started a new one, and that's how I began Depop. I just sold all the clothes I'd been sent, and then people requested that I buy things, and then it kind of went from there.
Oh my gosh, it's like such a beautiful like unfolding, unraveling of that.
Because it just wasn't like, it wasn't thought out. It wasn't meant to happen. It just did.
So you like grew up on the internet, really? Then building a following at like 16. That's like a whole thing.
Yeah, it was intense.
Yeah. And was that from that like American Apparel era? See, I hope you know you have allies in the room, because a lot of my friends were like Tumblr kids that went Instagram and brought the following there. And that's a very like hard transition as well, because then it becomes, the Instagram just grew so fast.
It did, and I didn't even know how I got to where I was with Instagram. But yeah, I just kind of got scared of it.
Yeah. Well, it's an intimidating platform. And then it just like turned into influencer marketing, which no one really knew what that meant.
And then I was like, wait, no, this isn't me.
Yeah.
This isn't what I like to do. And also I got really bullied at school for being like an Instagrammer.
That's another recurring theme.
No one got it. And they were like, oh, you pay for your followers. And I was like, I really don't have the time.
And who's got the money to do that?
And also,
that's
16.
Like, come on now.
I want to buy lunch.
That's a mood though. Wait, that's a lot. And then I'm sure also realizing like making money on Instagram, like it starts to become real when you have a following that people want to monetize, and then you're like, I actually don't want to get paid to do that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. And you like end up doing things that you don't really want to do just because you're getting paid to do it.
For sure.
So yeah, it took a while, but I came to terms with it, and now I feel like I've fallen back into it again. So.
But in a way that's you.
In a better way, in a more sustainable way.
For sure. And that's a thing I think I love about your platform so much. I mean, we met for the first time yesterday at your pop-up, which we'll get into later.
Yes.
But the biggest thing is it just feels like a authentic, I don't know, expression of who you are. Like, I don't feel like you play a game online.
Yeah, no, that's what
cool.
I try. I try to just be me. I think that's what people like most.
Yeah.
Most of the like feedback I get is people like praising me for doing that.
That's great.
I'm very real online. I talk about lots of things that maybe people won't be open to talk about. So I think that's how I've grown. I think I've like grown a very nice community of people, like understanding people. They let me have breaks, and there's no pressure really.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so refreshing versus an era of the internet where it was like idolizing and glamorizing, and then like almost impulsive, like people feel like they know you, and then they feel like that's like a whole other level.
I mean, that still happens. Still happens. People think that. I mean, we all know that what you see online isn't real.
Yeah.
But I think base level, people forget that when they meet people from online, they think that they know them because they've seen their stories and things like that. But we choose what we put online.
Yeah. It's almost like an art. Like, you know an artist's work. You don't really know.
You don't know them. Exactly.
You don't know when
you
where they were making
You can read what you want from their work,
Yeah.
but that's like your interpretation of them, not actually them.
100%. Also, I read about you that you grew up in like a large household too, with a lot of siblings. How did that like play into your personal style too? I'm so curious.
So I've got 6 brothers.
6 brothers.
6 brothers.
Oh my gosh.
5 older. So I grew up with 5 older brothers and just me. I thought I was gonna grow a penis. I was confused. And I think it's influenced me because I'm very like mask now.
Yeah.
I always did like boy games and hung out with them. I didn't really have girlfriends growing up. I had like girl crushes and older girls that were like my brother's years that I'd want to hang out with. But in my year, I was always closer with boys. But I'm super fond of the fact that I grew up with 5 brothers, and now I have another brother as well.
Oh wow.
And I have a stepbrother and a stepsister, so there's a lot of us. It was hard.
Was there a lot of clothing? I'm sure also too, like I think about secondhand, and we kind of touched on it. Was there like a hand-me-down moment that was influencing it?
Was all,
I love it.
Yeah, I hated it.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I hated it because I was the last. So I got lots of hand-me-downs. And my mum always shopped in charity shops, and she'd buy me the wackiest clothes. And I really felt embarrassed when I was younger. But I think when I got to about 15, 16, I realized how cool it was, and that I was like slightly ahead of people in that sense, and that my mum had like got me into it from a young age. So I feel ashamed now that younger me didn't like vibe with it.
But that's also, I mean, you know what? That was really a sign of the times. We also, Macy, who's a friend of the show, we had on earlier in the season, she spoke about the same exact thing, like a shame around sometimes when it's like a means that you can't control and it feels like you have to, and then it almost builds resentment toward the thing. But now she's just as popping as you, killing it, and everyone's like, "Where'd you get this and that?" And she's like, "You'll never know, or you might watch your TikToks." But you know what I mean? But it definitely it was like a tool. It's a tool in your toolkit that you didn't even know you would need in the future, and now it's probably why you have leverage in your industry.
No,
it's pretty sick.
100%.
Yeah,
she would drag me into shops, and I'd be like, and she'd buy me. I remember this velvet 2-piece she bought me that she'd always put me in, because this was when I was like 8.
Yeah.
And it was black velvet, and it had like a landscapes like embroidered on it on the shirt, and the shirt was like asymmetrical, and the trousers were flared, and that was not cool back then.
That sounds so drippy now, though.
But I would wear it. Sick. Yeah, and I actually have a box of all the old clothes.
No way.
That she got me at my granddad's house. So
are they like too small now, and it's like there's no going back?
Some of them I was like, okay, I'm making this
You're
work.
Like, this is now a baby crop top on me, and I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed.
But most of it doesn't fit because I'm an adult.
That's the thing too. I think I started collecting clothes way too early, and then like my body changed because womanhood. Wow, and now I'm like, oh, okay. So these all things, like now I'm like passing them along slowly, and I'm like way too much attachment, and like they're just sitting in my closet, just like as like almost memorialized pieces, and I'm like, you can't leave. Would you ever sell some of that stuff on Not Just Trash?
I did like 2 years ago. I searched through a lot of it, and I saw, you know, when like baby tees really came in, and like cami tops.
Oh yeah.
I searched through it, and I was like, these things are cool, and I got quite a lot of money for them because they were actually like Y2K, like real Y2K.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of what you find online at the moment, Y2K wise, is actually just
wannabe Y2K.
Yeah, modern stuff that's like in the style. So yeah, I did that, but I think what's left, I like collect kids' clothes for when I have children.
I love that.
So I feel like I'll just keep them.
That's amazing. What's that line from Fashion Killa? It's like, but we save them so our babies will be flyer than their parents. Also, quick note for all the people that know what I'm talking about, that is literally A$AP Rocky foreshadowing him having Rihanna's baby. So let's just go back to that. Manifesting, like I said, strong on the show.
I'm living in New York.
We're doing it. She's coming. Also, congrats on 5 years, like, no fast fashion. That's a big thing. Were there any, like, phases of your style that you want to scratch from the record? I ask all of our guests this. Like, I mean, the American Apparel phase goes strong, but also some of them were pretty, like, classic pieces.
I don't want to, like, it was a part of me.
It's who we are.
Yeah,
it's
my old self. I respect her.
I had the bow phase.
Oh, you did?
And then now I'm in a mega bow phase, like big bows, which seem to be more socially acceptable again. Cool. So I'm here for it. But
I never had a bow phase.
I really was going through that Marina and the Diamonds moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. With the heart on my eye. I'm sorry.
Oh, my goodness.
Sorry, guys.
I don't know. I used to wear a lot of makeup. I feel like now I'm more comfortable when I'm just like natural or quite natural, and then I can have like boy moments, girl moments. I feel like that could maybe be a regret. I used to do like really intense colorful eyeliner and things
Urban
like
Decay.
That. Yeah, I remember going with my mum to get an Urban Decay palette, being like £26. That's a lot of money for an eyeshadow palette. Used it like 4 times. I've still got it.
Is it the electric palette?
The brown one? No.
Oh, the naked palette. The naked. Yeah. Oh my god.
And I remember like taking flat lays on my Instagram.
Stop. That was wow. Talk about how Instagram has changed.
It's wild because like I would post pictures like of a flat lay of an Urban Decay palette and get like 4K likes. And now it's like, who is even doing
times?
This? Yeah.
Simpler times. Everyone's like, you did that, sis. You spent $25, $30 on a palette. You're like, you're the it girl now.
We're going to like it.
I love it. I love it. That's hilarious. Well, also, no, I mean, it kind of just ties into this idea that like, one, you can be an androgynous, like, you know, go any direction when it comes to fashion, and at the core people are always attracted to who you are. And it's like, I think that's the biggest thing about not just trash that I love. It feels like anyone can walk into a pop-up or go on the site and find something that they're into and fuck with. Like right now, I know I was going to wait, but I want to kind of dive into what I got yesterday at the pop-up. So you're in New York also having this amazing pop-up. Can you tell me a little bit about the collection and what you're doing?
So it's called the Playground Collection. It's my 5th collection, but I think 3 of them were capsules. So it's my 2nd collection.
Cool.
I started it last August to be finished November, and that didn't work. I think I finished it like 2 weeks ago.
Amazing.
So the pieces are like, they took a while. So that's why they're very different, because I've been in 2 different places.
Oh yeah.
But it's called the Playground Collection, and it's inspired by, I think all my clothes are inspired by like the freedom of like childhood and innocence, and like not being afraid to portray yourself in certain ways and express yourself if it goes against the like strain of things. And it was really inspired by lots of like 90s films, cult films. I don't know if you've heard of Run Lola Run.
Yes.
Have you watched it?
I've seen part of it because I saw my friend does like curated film things, but yeah.
I watched that, and then I was like, okay, I'm making a collection. So that was the boost to start. And then Fruits Magazine always has a big spot in my heart.
Oh my god. Awesome.
So there's always that vibe in the collections.
For sure.
But this collection was to release like menswear, because I've got a lot of like skater boys that follow Not Just Trash, and they're always DMing me asking me, when am I going to release menswear? So I use this as a kind of opportunity to do that.
I love it. Can we go through my drip real quick, real quick? Okay, so I'm repping all the goods, you guys.
Yep.
To start, we've got the snail hat.
Okay,
this is
classic.
This is a classic Molly staple here. I mean, so what's the move with these? Like, when did it start for you? Like, have you always been into, is it knitting?
It's knitting. Yeah. So I literally started knitting when I made the snail hat.
Modeling it for you.
I posted the snail hat on Instagram, and it went viral. Like, it
had a moment. I remember, because you know what? I found out my Explorer.
Oh, you did?
No,
the
that's
green
really,
one.
Yeah. It's so sick.
And then, people were going mad for it. And within a few weeks, a lot of people were making them. And then, like, I don't mind people making things, but I feel like I branded them as snail hats, and I want to keep that for myself. You can call them other things. But I've sold so many of these hats, which is wild, because I didn't think that many people would I don't want to swear. What's the word?
You can swear.
I didn't think many people would fuck with it.
Yeah, there we go.
But they have. And actually, it's crazy when you wear it outside how many people stop you and comment on it, like in a positive way.
Yeah.
And then the ties. I love suits. I love like dressing mask, and you'll catch me in a suit like 2 times a week. So yeah, I love ties as well.
These are
so
sick.
I just wanted to try knitting ties. My mum helped me make all these sets for New York. Yeah,
I love it.
And we were like, wait, maybe we should do ties that match the snail hats. So there was like 4 or 5 sets. It is a look.
It's a freaking look. And also my set's hot pink, which is definitely like, there's almost like a funny play on like the feminine and masculine in that. And also I'm wearing it over one of the baby tees.
Yeah, baby tees. So this is a new release. So in the last collection we did a Diba butterfly tank, and it got ripped off by like Shein and AliExpress, and
it's a sign of
fuck
one.
you guys.
Yeah, literally fuck you guys. But also congrats, because that means that people want the things.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Not bittersweet congrats. When I say congrats, I mean like it's obvious that you're doing something that's popping.
Right. Yeah. But it's sad, because
it's very sad.
It like popped off in London, and I'd walk around and I'd see people wearing my shit, but it wasn't my shit.
See, that's just wrong.
Yeah, that's so wrong.
Beyond wrong.
Really wrong. It made me like stop doing what I was doing for a second, and then I was like, wait, no, I'm just gonna patent everything now.
That's awesome.
That I make, because the amount of money I could have made from these businesses that took the idea.
Oh yeah.
They basically just copied and pasted my design. Like, they didn't change it. It wasn't an inspiration. It was a copy and a paste. And the designs are all bleached, hand painted, so they're all different.
They're sick.
So it was one of one, and they copied that one of one and made it one of however many thousands that they've sold.
Ugh.
which kind of pissed me off, but
of course,
I'm over it. So I wanted to create something that maybe wasn't so easy to replicate.
Sure.
So obviously NJT is not just trash. So they can't really steal that. They can
really
try.
They can try, and then they're giving you an ad, which is even weirder.
Exactly.
Yeah, get your coin on from them, honestly.
Yeah.
So, like, something like that happens. Do you feel like people are, and I'm not saying it's a good thing, but do you feel like you gain traction with Not Just Trash?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, definitely. All publicity is good publicity.
There we go.
I like, I use it definitely to my advantage. I made a post on it and it got viewed by like 150,000 people.
Wow.
On Shein. It was a tweet. It was like the devil wears Shein.
I love that.
Yeah,
which is true.
and I posted it with all the screenshots of like AliExpress and Shein and Amazon.
Wow.
And Target sold my top for a hot second.
No way.
Yeah, and when I came to the US, I was like, I have to find it.
Have you found? Have your
in
followers
Target.
found? I think
Yeah,
also,
I mean, I get lots of DMs like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I don't want to be the one to do this, but this brand's copying you again." And I'm like, I just ignore them now because
Yeah.
it's just kind of upsetting.
yeah, it is upsetting. Well, it's your work, and it's like
yeah,
these businesses are literally just built off of exploiting
Mhm.
any and all
Well,
ideas and
that's-
people.
and people. That's why it hurts even more because I feel like my brand could be, if I was someone who didn't care, my brand could be so much bigger than it is.
Mhm.
But because I don't want to like manufacture things and mass produce things and like pump things out like that, I can't extend myself in that way. So to see them doing it off the back of exploiting people and
Yeah.
like slave labor, child labor, unfair work conditions, all of it is just, it just goes against everything that my business
course.
stands for.
Of course, it's almost like the juxtaposition is like two opposite sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, no, 100%.
and it's beyond disturbing. I mean, yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on fast fashion, mall culture, all these things. Like so much of what used to be consumer culture for everybody, and like kind of goes back to what you were saying about like the shame around secondhand when like culturally we're so used to like everything being new and hot and I'm gonna go to Hollister this weekend or Sephora, like that culture. What are your thoughts on like all of these brands? Like, do you think they have room in the future of fashion, or like as people like you are out here literally just giving them a run for their money, and you're like, actually, I'm creating community and I'm doing something positive.
And that's the main thing, is that I'm creating a community. I don't want it just to be about the clothes. I want people to have a safe space to express themselves, whatever that is. I'd like to think there's no room for them. I'd really like to think that. But I don't know if that's wishful thinking. I think a lot of them will drop off. I think a lot of them will try to do what a lot of us are doing now.
Yeah.
So you can already see that with brands like H&M, and they've launched their like sustainability range, but you know full well that they're not a sustainable brand. So I think it's something like, if part of your production is sustainable, then you can call your line sustainable. It doesn't have to all be sustainable. So they market off the back of that.
100%.
And unfortunately, consumers fall for it and think that, oh, they just read something and it's like, oh, cool, well, they're sustainable now, so I can fuck with that. But I think if you do your research, you know quite quickly that that's not the case.
100%.
I would like all fast fashion to go in the bin.
Agreed. That makes 2 of us. 3 of us? Film assistants in. 3. Probably the 4th, 5th. I think everyone could probably get behind that. We hate it. No, and I, it just kudos for dealing with it in such a mature way and saying like, I can't let it phase me. I think it's great you're patenting your stuff. I think you should sue people if you have the time and energy.
Americans love to sue.
I mean, yeah.
So I'm trying to get on that vibe.
This is America. Come back. Come to New York. Come
and
to
sue
New York.
people.
We've got the people to help. Trust me. That's the thing. I mean, I love the energy, but no, I want to hear more about Not Just Trash too, from like this umbrella idea, because when I look at your work, I think of the stuff you make, which is awesome, like all the different materials, all the different directions it goes. I mean, the rack at your pop-up yesterday was so sick. Everything was just like, yeah, it's just cool seeing like the spectrum of what upcycling looks like, and then also what like new creations look like, right? And how like accessorizing could be so unique and different. But then also I think of the Instagram, and I think of the thrifting and the reselling and all these things. Do you look at Not Just Trash as like an umbrella for all of these clothing related excursions of yours, or what's your take on it?
I like said to my mum last year, I was like, I think Not Just Trash isn't a fashion brand. I think it's an outlet of my expression, because I like to do more than just make clothes. I'm interested in lots of different things. And the idea is that Not Just Trash is that umbrella for me to do that. So from Not Just Trash, I started styling. And I hosted a pop-up in London before the New York one, and it kind of made me realize I could host events and things like that. I could do like night events, and
it was popping at your event yesterday. First of all, the croissants were going, people were buying. Like it was, it was energy.
I was shocked. I didn't know what to expect, and I got there 2 minutes late, and I walked in, and there was already like 4 girls in there,
so cool,
waiting for me, and I was like, "What? I've never even been to New York before." Okay, and then I just had a little cry, and I was like, "Okay, get your shit together. You got this." It was a great day.
That's awesome. It has to feel like really, I don't know. Like one just like affirms that everything you're doing is like being universally digested. Also remembering that like people on the internet are real people is always weird.
No, for real.
Yeah,
for real. And also a nice opportunity for them to like meet me and see that I'm also a real person, because I think it's easy to like idolize people online. And I get lots of DMs from people like, "Oh my God, I wish I was you," or "Your life's so perfect," blah, blah, blah. And it's far from it. So I think when people meet me, they can see that, you know, I'm just a human, and I suffer with all the same things that I'm sure lots of people do. And everyone's so like, everyone who loves Not Just Trash is hot and nice. So.
Hot, cool vibes, well dressed for sure. I love that. I'm also interested in like hearing more about like your upcycling and all this stuff. Was like a passion for clothes before upcycling, or did it come out of upcycling? Like when did that really happen? Because I see a lot of the line, like the playground line is like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. So for 3 years I did Not Just Trash, but like just reselling, and that was like to put money into savings so that one day I could make my own designs.
Yeah.
And actually the first time, I was never really into fashion until I dropped out of college, which is your high school. And then I was like, shit, I have to do something, because basically in the UK at that point it was illegal. You had to go to school, you had to work. And I was like,
really?
I don't wanna work. Yeah, so from 16 to 18, you had to do something. And I was like, shit, I don't want to work again. I just like worked in loads of cafes and stressful waitressing and all stuff like that. So I went to fashion school, like it was like a BTEC fashion class for, it was like 2 days a week. I literally never went in. I didn't really attend this, but that was the first time I used a sewing machine, and I hated it. I really hated it, but it made me fall into design. And then I had a bit of a heartbreak, and I bought some paints and I just painted on loads of things, and I posted them and people really liked it. And then I remember this was when I was like 17. I wasn't living in London, and I traveled up to London with a suitcase of all my clothes. I'd arranged a shoot, and on the train I was 20 minutes away and all the models cancelled. And I was like, and I felt like crying, blah, blah, blah. And then anyway, we pulled it together. That was my first collection. It was called Lovesick.
Wow.
That was years and years ago. But that's how I came into upcycling. And that was very different from what I do now. So I painted on clothes right up until like 2 years ago. And then I started like sewing on clothes. And then this collection is my first collection where I've actually made things from scratch.
Wow.
Because I'm all self-taught. So it can be hard to like juggle that.
Yeah, of course. It's so many different aspects of like the brand or what it could be too.
Yeah, no, for sure. But it's my favorite part. I released a statement like a month ago saying I want to step away from vintage because personally I think it's oversaturated now. I think that, you know, if you had a room of like 10 girls, probably like 6 of them would be reselling.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like everyone's doing it. So I just wanted something that I just feel like my brand is more than a reselling brand, and I don't want to be seen as a reselling brand. So I'm going to push my collections more and really focus on them this year.
That's so cool. I think people need more of things that you've touched and kind of put a stamp of approval on too. Like regardless if it's like, you know, vintage or not, but the fact that you're making things that feel like you and feel like your style, it just, you know, it makes sense to people. That's why people like you so much. I think also, I mean, I'm very curious about like the sustainability aspect, because when I look at Not Just Trash, I immediately think you're taking things that otherwise would be deemed trash because society needs to move past that, like we were talking about, and you're turning them into things that are like sought after and sold out and etc. Do you feel like sustainability as an aspect is something you focus on when you're making brand decisions, or is Not Just Trash just like unfolding in that way?
It's like the whole thing is sustainability. Obviously I do everything myself. So I run the business, I take the photos, I like organize events, I make the clothes, I ship everything. I'm a one woman band.
Wow.
So sometimes maybe sustainability can't be like where I want it to be, but it's always at the forefront of every decision I make.
Which is sustainable in itself.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about being perfect. That was something.
No, exactly. It's not about, it's about trying. It's about doing your best.
Like, and as a small business owner, like, of course, like you can only do so much bandwidth wise. And there's also this idea of like what sustainability should look like from a corporate lens, which is hilarious because that's not sustainable.
No, exactly. And I just say anything that's like mass produced isn't sustainable because we have enough clothes. I think we have enough clothes in the world to dress the next 7 generations.
Wow.
Which is, it just makes me sad because I don't see the point in making new clothes when we have all these old clothes. I feel the same with like children. I don't want to have my own children because I feel like there's children in the world that need love and care, and I want to like give that to them.
I love that.
So definitely that is at the forefront. Maybe every decision I make can't be fully sustainable, but that is the aim.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's a North Star that I think most people can get behind because, as we know, that's not the case for everybody. But I think it's also why you're so popular and everybody likes your stuff so much. So
thank you.
Snaps all around. Snaps all around. Let's dive into your styling things. You got a great style. We know this. We've been talking about it. And it's really cool how it ties into the brand for one. I think that's really awesome. And it makes sense that you're doing all the production for all your things because such a sick vibe. Like I was saying on the Instagram and these pages, like I love that you're curating everything, but also it's like showing who you're attracting to the brand. I know like Biba Doobie, we've got Pink Pantheress, Willow Smith has been wearing your stuff. Are these people that are friends first and then become fans, or they're fans and then it's like they're in the community of Not Just Trash? Because I see you work closely, especially with Biba Doobie.
Yeah, so I live with B. B's a good friend.
Oh, cool.
But it kind of started, so the story of me and B is funny. So my second collection, I think it was called, I don't remember the name right now. My second collection, it was very grungy. B bought some pieces from it and I shipped them to her. This was before we like were friends. And they got lost in the post. And I had such a mare with it. I like cried so much. I lost all the, it was a lot of work gone. Man. The post office lost it. I never got it back.
That's terrible.
I don't know if it was like stolen or... Yeah, I don't know what happened, but she never got it. And then she was just like, look, like you lost as well as I did. So let's just come up with something else. Yeah. Maybe you can give me some different pieces from the store. So we met and then I gifted her some pieces. And then we kind of just, got really close from there.
Sick.
So maybe I feel like me and B is like at the same time. She like discovered my work and we became friends. Pink Pantheress asked me to style her music video. Cool. So that happened first, and then now we're friends. And then I met Willow in November, and we just kicked it off with each other. And she came to visit. She came to London, and we hung out for a while, and I just gifted her one of the snail hats.
Nice.
Before they were released. I thought that was a good idea.
That's cool.
And I've seen so many pictures of her wearing it, which is cool.
She's super, her vibe is so wholesome too. Yeah. Like it's cool seeing how like, you've also attracted like people that are, I don't know, moving music forward in a way, and you're like parallel in fashion in such a big way.
I feel like my brand ties in to like all the creative outlets. Like, so with each collection, I'll make a film as well, like a short film promo thing to go with it. That's something I'm really interested in, and music as well. We'll make the like beats or the sound that goes over the video. That's sick. But I think it ties perfectly like musicians and Not Just Trash. I think it works really well because especially with the styling that I do as well.
And you know, they lean on people like you to like help them express themselves in a different way as well. Yeah,
no, for sure. And I hear that from like people I work with a lot, that I've inspired them to try something new, or this outfit that they wore was inspired by me, and that always means a lot.
That's so cool. I mean, definitely me today. Listen, it's getting drippy up in here. I love the tie, by the way. It's actually really fun to just like hold and wear.
And you can like stretch.
Yeah, it's so nice. Oh my gosh. You guys, next drop. I'm telling you, you got to get your hands on it. So is styling something you want to like focus on? Does it feel like a part of Not Just Trash? Because to me, it's like the person behind the curated shop is doing cool things.
So I wanted to be a stylist for a really long time. And then I did some quite big jobs, and then I kind of like fell off the wagon. I was like, I don't know if I like this anymore. So I haven't styled for a while. I'm down to style my friends, people that I know and understand. Yeah. But when I started working with like new, bigger clients and they didn't really know what they wanted, I started to get a bit like stressed. Especially with like, I've had no help with styling. So I don't know like, you know, rates and things like that. I've had to work that all out by myself. And I think actually sometimes the bigger people that you work with, the like less budget that they have.
Or they try to make it that way for exposure, right?
Exactly. And then you find out actually what the budget was for the thing. And
which is so annoying. And
then what you're getting as quite a main part of it as well. I just kind of drifted away from it, but I'm not opposed to doing it. I just feel like it's not as big a passion as it was. It was something I saw myself doing. I want to be a stylist, but now I'm happy to style. If people like me and like what I can come up with, I'm happy to do that, but I don't want to be a full-time stylist.
No, I get that. And I think regardless, it's something that people will always come to you for when they really want to work with you based off the brand. And I feel like you're growing so rapidly as well. Like it feels like it's just a large aspect of like why people gravitate towards you and why people get into the upcycling stuff as well, you know?
Yeah. And I guess I want to inspire people to, because, you know, once upon a time I wore like skinny jeans and crop tops and that's all I wore. I want to inspire people to like step outside the box and like use fashion to express themselves, because at the end of the day it's like writing or drawing. It's a way, it's therapeutic, it's a way to like release 100%. Pent up energy. And especially if you're struggling with like who you are or you know, where you want to be or who you want to be or how you want to portray yourself, then like the way you dress can really help with that, because it can change every day. You don't have to be I'm this, I'm Molly, and I dress grunge and that's all I do. You can dress grunge on Monday, and on Tuesday you can be a boy, and on Wednesday you can be a girl, and Thursday you can, do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong or set path. You can just experiment.
100%. That's the beauty of it, you know? And I look at people, I mean, across the board, we see like minimalism versus maximalism and all these things. But even like regardless of the avenue people decide to like consume or have a closet, etc., like there's still room to do just that. Like, and also having pieces that can do a bunch of things. This tie I'm wearing, y'all, it could be a scarf.
It could be a scarf. You
could be a headband.
Yeah. Belt.
Was that, you know, the Travis Scott video? Belt. This is it. So, I mean, for one, everyone's seeing your work through so many different ways that you're being exposed, whether it's like people posting, etc. Vogue did a write-up. How do like those types of moments feel? Like, do they affirm you, or like, are they just like kind of out of body, like, oh, yeah, sure. It's very mainstream.
Yeah, it's very out of body. Because like, I think what I do is such a passion, and it just comes from, you know, within, and I only produce things that I personally like and I want to like put out. And if someone buys it, that's a bonus. So when I got the email saying that the fashion editor from Vogue wanted to interview me, I was like, what? Like, me? What do I say? And then we did the interview. It was really great. We got on really well. And then I didn't hear back. And then one morning I woke up and someone sent me the article and they were like, Vogue just posted you. And I was like, what? And it was just like a full circle moment for me, because my mum was like a model in the 90s and she had her own agency. And so she was always into fashion. And previously, for like the year before, I was working with the ex-editor of Vogue.com, the woman who started Vogue.com, editing it. I was working in her shop, and then she like woke up to the article and she was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, she had nothing to do with it. And she was like, it's just like a full circle moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also it was something that I dreamed of in some way happening, whether like whatever creative way it was, of being in Vogue, like being attached to Vogue in some way. So yeah, it's definitely one of my top achievements. I definitely like put it up there.
I mean, it's well deserved. And I think too, it just shows that you really are making people think about sustainable fashion in a big way, you know?
Yeah.
We've been waiting for publications like this to actually give a shit, and now they
for
do.
real.
And it's awesome, and they're giving you a platform for more people to find it. It's like so cool.
And I think it came off the back of my last collection, so
cool.
That was even more affirming, because
Yeah.
I guess we all suffer with imposter syndrome.
100%.
And when I finish a collection and I'm ready to put it out, I have this moment of, actually, wait, maybe I don't want to do this. Maybe I don't want to put it out. But obviously, all that hard work has to come to something. So when you get recognition like that, it makes sense. I'm like, okay, I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing.
100%. So affirming. So affirming. Do you have any people that would be like dream muses of Not Just Trash? Whether, I know you've got some now that you're like feel very aligned with. Anyone else?
So Twigs, I'd love to I'd love to make some like stage clothes. I'd love to work with some artists and create something that they want me to create for stage. I think that would be really fun. I think I'm less like idolizing of people. I don't really do that. I don't necessarily have that many people that I'm like, oh, I really want to work with you, but I have goals. I'd really like to style a like short film or a movie.
Sick.
Do the styling for that. I think that's the direction I want to head in.
I love that.
Because I really enjoyed styling music videos and things that like tell a story.
And it looks amazing, by the way. All the
Thank
videos
you.
so cool.
Thank you. I'm like super happy with them, but I know that to like keep progressing, you have to keep like extending that and using new people and all of that stuff. But I'm just happy anyone who, you know, digs Not Just Trash, I'm happy to work with them in some way. So I don't want to force it on people.
No, for sure. I think too, it just sounds like people are naturally finding you and finding alignment, and then you guys hit it off, and it's like, all right, you're in my universe now.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. And this is crazy.
This is crazy in a wonderful way. It's just cool to see you like continuing to like take the space that you deserve, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like cool artists finding you, publications seeing like, okay, we're gonna like, we want to talk about her, and like all the alignment with just like people with platforms that are like, no, your stuff is sick and like people need to hear about it. And then I mean, even just like I said before, going to the event, seeing how many people are there, seeing people vibing, like people talking and just interacting in a way where it's like this was all happening for a reason.
Yeah, it's very overwhelming because it feels very surreal every time.
I'm sure.
Because I think back to my younger self and how I'd like imagine just like being something. I don't think I ever knew what, and I still don't think I know what. I don't know, you know, where this is taking me or what I'm supposed to be. But those moments I'm like, I think of myself back in my bedroom, like writing in my journal and like daydreaming about things like this. And then I just feel distant from that person. So to be here now I'm extremely grateful.
It's awesome. Well, we're happy to have you here, and I'm so glad you're in New York, and the brand just keeps expanding and finding the places it needs to be.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, we're gonna take a thick or quick break, and we're gonna highlight a wonderful Galaxy creator. So stay tuned.
Hi guys, I'm Olivia. I'm the owner of Bedford Vintage, which is a vintage store in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, located at 207 Bedford Avenue. We mainly sell 1950s through early 2000s clothing. We also sell a lot of handmade pieces from local designers, which is really fun. But what you can find at the store really depends on the week, so make sure to stop by or shop on Galaxy, which is just under the same name, just Bedford-Vintage on Galaxy. I got started selling secondhand because my mom used to take me to thrift stores when I was a kid, and I always really loved it. It's hard for me to remember the very first item that I thrifted because I've been doing it for so long, but I definitely have one that stands out in my mind. When I was in middle school, I bought a striped tank top from a Buffalo Exchange, I believe, with my own money. Big deal for me at the time, and I wore it like all summer long. The craziest thing I've ever found in a thrift store was definitely an authentic Louis Vuitton beach towel. It was really high quality, super heavy. I wasn't even sure if it was authentic at first, but it turned out to be real. I got it for $3 because it was originally $6, but it was half off that day. And I found it in a Salvation Army right after it had reopened after the pandemic. So I'm pretty sure I was like the first person to even look at the rack that I found it on after they had been closed for a few months. That particular piece was really cool because I held on to it for a little bit, but then ended up selling it to somebody who reworks luxury towels. So he turned it into, I believe, a tank top and like a purse set, and then he sold it to someone else, which is just awesome to see how something can take so many forms and be transformed. I like being my own boss because I'm very particular about the way I want things, especially now that we have a retail location. Just the way the store looks, the curation, all kinds of stuff like that. You know, I kind of have a clear vision in my mind, and I love that I'm able to actually execute that. I also find it a lot more motivating to be working for myself. My advice to anyone who wants to start selling hand is to have a combination of really, really unique pieces, things that people maybe have never seen before, and then also classic pieces that you know definitely have a customer out there for them. I would also definitely say, even though people might not want to hear this, don't be afraid to have lower prices at first. It'll definitely help you build up a customer base, help you start talking to more customers, and will get you more attention at first. Even if you won't be making as much money, it'll definitely be good in the long run. Selling secondhand clothing makes me feel good because not only is it fun, but it's also good for the environment. It's way better than shopping fast fashion. You can also find much higher quality and more unique pieces. I love how creative people get with secondhand clothing, and just how cool it is that something that has been sitting in a warehouse possibly for years, or in a thrift store, or in someone's closet prior to it being donated, now has a new life and is something that people are getting excited about again. You can shop my store on Galaxy at shopgalaxy.com/bedford.vintage.
Welcome back, everybody, to Finding Fashion. It's your girl, Pojo. I'm here with my girl, Molly. Not just trash.
Not just trash.
You look very poor. Your posture immediately changed when I addressed you. We're
Okay,
getting
cameras on me.
Listen, it's all happening right now. We're diving into creative stuff. I want to hear more about your creative process. One of the things that I've been loving since the pop-up is this zine. It's the Playground Zine. Tell me about it. What's the deal here?
So it kind of came from, the girl I'm traveling with, Ori, she's a photographer. And we were getting really close around the time of the collection, and I asked her if she would shoot like the collection, and then we thought maybe we can do something more than that. So we thought, okay, let's do a zine. We had 2 weeks in total to like do it all.
Wow.
But I think we spent like 4 or 5 days on it max, because at the same time I was organizing the events and I was making the clothes and photographing stock and sizing and all of that stuff. So basically we got all our friends, not all of our friends, some of them didn't do it, but they were busy.
Crunch time. I can't believe you did it so
them.
fast.
Yeah, no, for real. I've made a zine before, so I had like some sort of idea.
Yeah.
But that was when I was 16. I made it for when I went to the fashion like school thing.
Yeah.
I did an EPQ and I did a zine for it, and I got
sick.
a really bad grade. But
This gets a great grade.
this
for me,
one, yeah,
at least.
A-star.
It's awesome.
So we wanted to create something interactive that like outlined the collection. I knew I didn't have time to necessarily like shoot as much as I have done in the past for the collection and promo it. So I wanted to create a zine that showed the people what everything looks like on.
Yeah.
But also I know that a lot of my like fans of the store are young people, and they can't necessarily afford to buy the clothes. So I wanted to create something that was cheaper, that they could purchase, and that made them feel like a part of the collection as well.
Sick.
So part of the idea was that we put a playlist, the Playground playlist, together.
This is so cool.
Which we just got everyone that was involved to pick the song that they think everyone needs to hear before they die. That sounds really sad. But I mean, like, you know, that one song that just gets
Changes
you going.
your life.
Yeah. And I mean, it changes every day, surely. But on the day, these were the songs that people picked.
I love it.
So it's kind of a mismatch of songs, but I do like it. And I think that's the whole Playground vibe, is that it's not perfect, it's imperfect, and it's DIY. And then we put a doodle page in the back as well, so that people could like
do their own thing on it.
Yeah, and
I love
actually
that.
a guy sat at the pop-up shop yesterday and doodled over the whole zine. He sat for like the day and doodled over it all, and it looked so cool. I didn't even get a picture, so
That's so cool.
that's
It's like opening room for collaboration within a piece that is already like collaborative.
Yeah, so basically I'm like, I want to start YouTube, and I want to like start all these things. I've always been into magazines and you know, the idea of creating my own. So this was a very speedy first issue of many. There's many to come. So I'm planning now to do a zine with a different photographer for each collection.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a way to get, smaller people involved in things, people that don't maybe have. I think the hardest part about this whole industry is getting your foot in the door. So I love to like spread my success. I think if the people around me are succeeding as well, then we're all succeeding more.
Yeah.
So it's just a way to get more creative people involved in the process, basically.
So sick.
So each collection, every 3 months, there will be a new issue of the zine.
Yay.
So the collection I did last year was like really Fruits magazine inspired. It was really bright colors and cool patterns and contrasting and long skirts and patchwork and things like that. And then this collection, I wanted to do something a bit more sort of unisex, a little bit more like low key. And that's what it started as. And then I started reworking some like things like these.
Yeah.
And I realized I wanted to split the collection into 2 parts, and I wanted to have a day like casual wear and a nightwear as well. So that's what I did with this one. Yeah.
And it's I mean, I have to say, I saw the pieces too, like the skirt sets. Those are so sick with the slits on the side. But it's like, is it knit? I mean, it's like the material's
like
thicker. Towel.
Yeah. So I was thinking like, I like using things that maybe aren't supposed to be used, or, things like that. It's also a very like mini skirt.
Yeah, it's really cute.
So I thought, I imagine like people in LA wearing it on the beach.
Yes.
Like, or like coming out of the pool, and then you can stick it on and it will actually dry you, as well as like
that's so sick.
be an item of clothing.
Oh yeah.
Multi-purpose.
100%. I love the multi-purpose towel moment. Like anyone upcycling a towel, I'm like, is a yes, because no, it's very seasonal, but it also feels like that, especially like that silhouette. I just like how you kind of brought something in that you wouldn't expect for something that's more of like a seductive or like cool, like trendy piece in a way. Like people are really into like all that. And it kind of goes back to like the fast fashion stuff. Like we see these moments and micro trends, especially with 2 pieces, right?
Yeah.
That's something that you'll have actually forever, because it's not going to just like disintegrate after one wash, and you're going to like wearing it.
And I think I wanted to, and I've never thought like this before, but I had to think like this because, we're trying to move on up. But I was like, I need to create something. So my brand is very good at drawing in like similar people to me, but it's not so good at drawing in like influencers or like Instagram baddies and people that, work with fast fashion brands.
Right.
And I wanted to extend it to those types of people. So I wanted to create something like the baby tees and the skirt sets that would maybe draw in influencers, because something a bit more like you said, a little bit more like sexy.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the time that's what like the Instagram audience is looking for.
Which is, it's very clickbait, you know what I mean? Like,
because obviously we know that if you post something like that, you get more of a reach. I think I try not to think about like micro trends and things like that, because it's obviously about sustainability. I don't want to produce something that's, I want to produce timeless pieces that people can continue to wear, not pieces that, are in for 5 minutes and out the next.
For sure.
But obviously some of the pieces I create, like the snail hats, they're very bold, and I don't know how long they'll be about for, but I hope that people will, keep them for a while and use them in winter. And I guess you can wear them in summer as well. I
think they stand on their own at 2 feet in a way, or on their shell. I don't know, snail hat. I'm trying to like draw the conclusion. They stand on their slime. But I think this specifically to me, I mean, it gives beanie, but it gives elevated beanie. I don't think this goes away. You know what I'm saying?
It's just like that extra, like, it's for the people
like
that, they want the oomph.
Yeah.
They want to wear a beanie, but they want it to be a bit different.
An elevated beanie.
Yeah.
And a quirky beanie. That's
and it's
like
not
fun.
for everyone. And I'm cool with that. Like, I'm not trying to create clothes that are for everyone.
That feels like the overarching thing with your stuff. Like, it's not about, like I love that you're saying you want to infiltrate a space where these people are existing and like into fashion, but you don't want to sell out like and go into these micro trend moments, because in reality, like, I don't think anything you do can be inauthentic, like it almost feels like it's not just trash if it's not you.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Does that make sense?
For sure.
Yeah.
And I struggled with that for a while, like me being like the brand and coming to the realization that I am not just trash. But I think that I have to just accept that and work with it.
I think more than anything, and I understand that feeling because also that's just the internet. Like it will make you feel that way. But when I look at not just trash, I think of your style more than anything, you know, like how you are perceived just visually based off of the clothes you wear, which it's like you said, people love to think that they know you based off of something like that. But in reality, knowing you is knowing you. And then knowing not just trash is knowing not just trash.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you have any advice for people that admire your work and admire what you do and want to like also feel like, I don't know, their personal style is their own? Like, how do you approach outfits in the morning? Like,
so I feel like it's like I've said this before, it's all mood dependent.
Yes.
I think I start with a palette because I sort of see my mood in colors. So depending on how I'm feeling, the colors that go with that.
Yeah.
And then I will find a piece and then I will, you know, put something together with. So I really want to wear this top today. So then I'm going to lay this top down and, you know, see what works with that. But I think just not boxing yourself in, not telling yourself that you know, you're one thing or you have to, you know, live by fashion rules or anything like that. Just experiment. And if you feel good before you leave the house, you're probably going to have a moment. I always have a moment when I leave the house of, oh wait, like actual real people can see me now.
Yeah.
But I think if you felt good before you left, then you have to hold on to that because it's easy for external sources to make you feel certain ways. But at the end of the day, it's about how you feel. It's not really about how anyone else feels. And like you said, if you're being yourself, then people will love that.
For sure. I love that. The idea of not letting other people's opinions like muddy the way that you perceive your own stuff to begin with.
For sure. Because it just makes you, I mean, we all have it, surely.
Yeah.
But it makes you overthink things, and realistically, it doesn't need to be overthought like that. It's not that deep.
It's not that deep.
It's
clothes.
It's exactly
at the end of the day.
And tomorrow you'll wear something different.
100%. And you might resell it eventually, and
Exactly,
you might keep it forever. Who cares?
Who cares?
I don't care. But we also don't care. All the things. Well, on that note, I would love to dive into your fashion finds. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
You guys, if you don't know, now you know. It's a segment where I ask our guests to show us some of the fashion pieces that they have found and the stories behind them. So,
okay.
May we?
Yep.
Awesome. Let's see the goods. I already know you found a bajillion amazing things and have turned them into even more amazing things. So, I'm very excited to see what you brought.
See, I'm in New York and I had X amount of clothes with me, so I just bought my favorite pieces.
Obsessed.
Basically.
I also know you and I both have packing issues, which is a whole other fish to fry. Especially,
I like to think I don't, but I do.
That's me.
Yeah.
I go somewhere and I'm like, I totally underpack, and then I'm like, I have no room to bring anything home.
I
and
can't
this
even
is
buy
depression.
anything.
Yeah.
I didn't bring a coat, and I can't buy a coat.
Or it's like I pack when I leave, and I'm like, how did this all fit? Because now there's literally no shot it's happening. Yeah. Then I end up wearing like 3 jackets at the airport and I'm sweating my ass off.
I mean, that's
on
what
the
I
plane.
do anyway.
Yeah.
I'm like, wear the biggest clothes to the airport. Wear the
bigger the
biggest
clothes,
shoes, the biggest clothes.
I mean, the grand entrance is everything. Well, the entrance from New York to LA is actually devastating because you go from like freezing cold to like it's 90 degrees and I'm sweating and I'm walking to the lift station. I'm like,
I mean, all these clothes are like, oh.
Yeah, it's just chaos. Anyways, I want to ask you some questions and we'll see what pieces you brought.
Okay,
I'm so excited.
Okay.
So my first question for you is what is one piece you can't stop wearing?
Okay, so I guess this denim set that I've been wearing that you've seen on camera, I've worn it all week.
Obsessed with it.
But it's new, so I would say that. But also I wanted to talk about hats.
Yeah.
I'm a hat queen.
Oh, yes.
I love hats. I have a crazy hat collection.
Really? So, like, is there a type of hat? I mean, I know I've got the snail hat
Every
on,
hat.
but okay.
I have and they're all sourced secondhand or handmade.
Sick.
Yeah, I don't know when it happened, but I love hats.
Are you I'm trying to imagine you in a snapback right now, and it's like almost hard. No, did you have a snapback right now?
I bought this one.
Shut up! Wait,
wait, I can't put it on with the headphones.
Oh yeah, this is great. The colors are really good. It's like brown and red and yellow.
It's hot, right? So this is my friend's brand.
Oh, cool.
Advisory. He gave me this hat yesterday.
Oh, sick.
I just love hats.
Yeah.
I love hats.
Can I see it?
Yes, please. It says "Wake up, brothers and sisters."
It's like the typeface is nice. This is like, it's like thick actually. It's like
he's
puffy.
really cool.
That's so cool.
Thick and puffy.
We love. I think a hat also just like pushes. Well, some would argue it pushes an outfit to a point of no return, or it just completely like changes the game. Like it's what you're missing.
And
you know what
like,
I mean?
Hats can be taken on and off. So
100%.
Have a hat and then see what you're doing.
It's a flexible. It's a flexible accessory.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes when I'm wearing earrings out or, you know, jewelry, it's like you can't, the jewelry, it's like, all right, you're going to lose the jewelry, you take it off.
Oh, yeah.
The hat, it's like I strap it to my like belt and then I'm done. I love that. What's one piece that has a story behind it?
I'm going to show you this because I bought this from a charity shop right before I came. And when I bought it, the person I was with was like, oh, like, what are you doing? And I was like, no, this is cool. This is definitely cool.
So it's a controversial piece.
It's a controversial piece. And I didn't wear it in the UK once. I wore it here. And then I was staying in Jersey and every person was like stopping me like, cool hat. And I was like, another hat, by the way.
Oh my God, I love it. The hats are taking over, people.
And it's basically...
Stop it.
It's basically this hat.
It's a furry hat.
And
like,
you can
oh
put your
my
hands
God.
in the thing.
Where
It's
did you
a
find it?
scarf, charity shop. It was like £4.
Oh my God.
And it's got the little paw prints. I think this makes people stare. I like that.
I like it too. It's giving warmth.
And it's also warm. Yes, I can wear my denim set
Yeah.
and this, and I know I'm good.
Yeah, you're
And,
good
like,
to
I
go.
can wrap it up. And
I'm like, I'm having like a fashion flashback. Uh-oh, here we go. Raven
Dun, 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 dun,
looking into the
dun.
camera. I'm like thinking this was a trend in the US
Oh, this
Was it?
Yeah, this was this. Yeah.
because I am positive my cousin had. Oh, that just triggered me. Whatever that little motion was. Yes,
My cousin
Facebook
had one.
photo shoots in these 2009.
It's like 2000. Yep.
Yep.
2008, 2009.
Oh my gosh.
It's like
Kesha would have worn this
yeah.
for sure.
And I think that's why the friend I was with was like, wait, I don't know. Because I don't know if it was really cool back then, but it was a vibe.
I don't know if like, I mean, I'll be honest. I don't think anything I was doing at that time was cool. I was not that girl. I was not that girl.
No. me
I'm
either.
still making up for lost time, you
Yes.
guys.
yeah, me too.
This though, but honestly, this is such a vibe. It's very New York friendly.
Yes.
It's a personality piece.
Uh-huh.
It also starts conversation. It also keeps you warm because the
And-
wind sometimes is kicking and it's like 50 degrees and I'm like, why do I feel like it's 30?
And is a great sidekick.
It is a
Like,
great sidekick.
I gave it to my friend in the club, and as soon as he put it on,
Oh, the party was popping.
all the girls, all the boys.
Oh my God, it's
like,
a
your
magnet.
Hat. Oh my God, your hat. I was like, yeah.
You're like, you know the vibes over here. Keeping it warm, cozy, vibey. Well, you can keep the hat on too because I think it's too epic.
Okay.
I'm wondering my last question. What's a piece that has stood the test of time?
This. This is my favorite
Oh.
thing. I lost it. I lost it for like a year and a half, and I was devastated. I was like,
No.
who stole it? Where did it go? But no, it was just me. I just put it somewhere and forgot about it. So it's sleeves with a hood. I love hoods.
What?
I love sleeves. I love weird things.
So it is literally, oh my God.
So
Wait,
you
this
can
is
just
fire.
Put it over an outfit, and it just makes it just that extra.
Oh my gosh. It's almost,
it
it's giving
ties.
like elf vibes.
Uh-huh.
Is it
so that's,
elfy?
like, my whole
I love it. So it's like, it has like a little like
pixie elf.
elf like hood thing.
But then it's kind of like got that like
Oh
grungy
my
vibe as well. Like, it's
God.
kind of like a little bit edgy.
It is.
And I've never seen. This was from a charity shop as well.
This is cool.
Who's it by?
Silo? Ooh, can I feel
You
it?
heard of that?
It's like this heathery green moment. And
That for
This
me
is
will be
sick.
something I keep forever.
do you tie? So
you tie
What's
the
your
two-
styling with this?
So I would tie the
Up here.
one and one and
Nice.
then one and one, or sometimes you do it around your neck.
Oh my God,
Like,
it's dope.
yeah.
I could see it with like a bra even. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Or like a
kind of
little
like
cami.
yeah, for sure.
I wore it the other day with like a black bodysuit, and then
Oh, yeah.
I wore green jeans, and I laid a green skirt over the jeans.
Oh, sick.
And then I wore this.
This
I
is
don't
moment.
generally wear the hood, but I like the vibe.
It's a vibe. And I think also the drapey aspect of it like adds to the
And
why
it makes me just
works.
feel like out of this world.
It
Do you
is
know
out
what
of
I
this
mean?
world.
It just makes me feel that little bit more ethereal.
You are ethereal. This is giving ethereal. Wow. And I like that it's also feels like almost hand sewn, like the seams are exposed.
Yeah, I don't even know the brand. I've never seen anything like this before. It's something I would never sell. Like, it's staying with me forever.
Listen, the FBI agent of Shein is watching this right now and they are taking notes. Every single thing we're going to see on the
They're like,
website in
"We're
about 10
making
minutes.
this
You should make some pieces like this.
Oh, just wait.
Okay, that's gonna be the next drop, you guys. Stay tuned. More of a reason to follow and keep track of Molly and all the things. Thank you for sharing all of the amazing pieces, all of which have some sort of head like detail, which we love. It's just framing. It's framing the face.
I love a hat.
I love it, dude. Thank you so much. Also, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
This conversation is so refreshing. It's really nice also talking to someone that I feel your authenticity. I also see it, like just seeing it in the event and seeing it in what you do. Like, I'm so excited for more people to just get on the Not Just Trash train.
Me too.
Choo choo. There's more room. It's pretty much an infinite train.
It
like,
is.
we could just keep going until everyone's on the train.
It's like the Snowpiercer. Wait, do you know what that is?
Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
Is that like a
1,137 carriages long?
Oh my
Something like
god.
It's infinite.
That's the Not Just Trash train. We're gonna sponsor that train. We need the logo on it.
Sponsored by Galaxy.
Exactly. The Galaxy logo at the bottom. Put the Galaxy logo in my hand, Ben, please. Before we go, I want to ask, because you kind of foreshadowed in the beginning, what's next for you? What's on the horizon, clothing and otherwise? Because clearly I did not know what was gonna come.
Yeah. Okay. So I get home and I will be doing a collaboration with someone who helped me with this collection. She's from London. She upcycles as well, and we're just kind of like the same vibe. So we're gonna produce a collection together.
Yay!
I've got some sort of like musical things going down, and then I think next up is I want to arrange like a night event. I want to put on like a club event. I want to get people together, like minus the clothes. And because you know what, one thing that really stuck with me in the London pop-up was someone came up to me and they were like, I was so nervous to come. I came by myself, but I just wanted to have a good time and I just wanted to meet friends. And I was like, and have you? And she was like, yeah. She was like, this is the best day ever. I've been really struggling for some time, but everyone who's here has been so inviting and wanted to hang out and like they feel safe in that space. And I wanna elevate that. Like I wanna take it away from the clothes and focus on something a bit more personal.
100%. I love the idea of you throwing like a banger party and everything. It's just like it's like dim lit and fun and bright, and then like people wearing the pieces to like flash TikTok. I don't know, like that energy feels so cool.
For sure.
And then for music, like, is this like a project moment? Or are you just gonna be like dropping like little gems? Like where do people follow you and make sure that they know what's going on?
Okay, so my Instagram is Fiona McLeod. You have to be patient with me. But yeah, music's always been a passion. I write a lot. So I write a lot of poetry, and then
awesome.
One of my friends was like, yo, you could write songs. And I was like, could I? And then I bought a guitar and I started writing songs. And I just think I want to maybe put out a couple of singles, an EP, and just see what happens. I'm not... With everything I do, I don't hold too much into it. Like, I'm not sure if this is something I want to do forever, but I definitely want to put myself out there in that way. Just produce something and see what people say.
I love it. I'm here for it. I'm already sitting waiting. I'm going to put your like post notifications on and be like, where's Fiona?
Yeah, and it will be Fiona McLeod.
So handles Fiona McLeod. Anywhere else we can find you?
Not Just Trash on Instagram, Depop, Galaxy.
Yes.
And then hopefully this year I'm gonna bring out my website.
Oh yeah.
Dope. Because I think it's about time.
I think also just you having another place on the internet is not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like the more the merrier.
Yeah. No, for 100%. Sure. And YouTube. So I'm like in the midst.
Yes.
Of
we're so ready. Yes. So that's
channel.
coming soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It's gonna be fun.
Yay. You gotta stay on the train, guys. What did I tell you? There's no getting off the train once you're on it. Also, so everybody knows, your handle for Galaxy is shopgalaxy.com/notjusttrash. So go check out the shows. Go subscribe. Go make sure you know what's going on. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
You're like our international like baddie right now. Whoa. This is awesome.
Am I the only British person you've done?
Second British person.
Okay, second.
But you're the first to come to New York and literally be like a transplant in New York right now, like vibing. So
no, I'm like, this is amazing. You've got
so much more to see too. Well, and we have to do like a vintage day as well. So there's like a real like deep dive.
Yeah, for sure.
This has been awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the zine. Thank you for listen, thanks for giving me the drip.
That's okay. Thank you for everything.
Always gotta support. Are you kidding me? This is awesome. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Finding Fashion. I'm your girl Pojo. you got to stay and hang out with us longer. Please follow us on everything. You know the vibes. We've got Galaxy on shopgalaxy.com. We've got Follow by On Galaxy on Instagram. A hot tip too, you guys, there's a setting on Galaxy people don't know about where you can like go through the inventory while they're showing it.
Yep.
It is how I have grabbed things before. So for the next Not Just Trash show.
And there's the new like Reels feature where you can like highlight sections of your live and then sell them on there. I made one yesterday, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned, everybody. Well, you know me. It's Pojo. You can find me on Instagram at Pojo. Get silly on TikTok at PojoJojo. And those are all the things. Thank you so much for being here. Finding Fashion. Signing out. Go wear something fun and cool. Go buy some Not Just Trash.
Yup.
And we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.